Hey yo, what's going on everybody? Quick market update, okay? Now, if you haven't like caught on already, these are the only pairs that I trade. So if you are trading with me, you can obviously have your own pairs, but I'd have these pairs in like a section maybe or something like that, especially if you're on TradingView, just so that you can like access these pairs and maybe even mark up these levels that I have on you know, pretty similar to mine, okay? So the only pairs that I trade, USD CAD, AUD USD, GBP USD, and GBP JPY. I trade gold sometimes, but it's more of a pair that I will wait for the really good trade. So, you know, I have gold on here, but you'll probably see a gold trade like once a week, maybe. So yeah, that's the pairs that I trade. But first things first, what I'm looking at is the DXY. Now, if you remember my old market review that I did a couple days ago, I said that this was gonna move up. I have the US, I have the DXY kind of in like this wedge, right? And I thought that it was gonna break this little like ascending triangle that it was creating, and it did. It broke up. Now, what I'm expecting from the dollar is this seems to be a pretty significant level for the dollar. So, what I'm expecting right here, since we have this pretty big impulsive move up, is to have some rejection off of here and to either bounce off of here. I either think that it's gonna do something like this, or it's gonna do something like this. Okay? Now that's just my analysis on the dollar. That can always change, but for now, that's what I think it's gonna do. Okay? So in that case, that would make if USD was to catch this retracement, right? That means US dollar is gonna be getting weaker, which means this is gonna be dropping because the US dollar is getting weaker, which means CAD would quote unquote be getting stronger than the dollar if the dollar was dropping. Right now, the dollar works really good with USD CAD. I don't know so much AUD USD. This is a pair that I've been that I kind of newly put on here. So and then GU, this moves really good with GBP USD too. Like you can see this impulsive. I mean, this moves good with the DXY too. Like you can see this move up, it came from this move down. The dollar got weak, which and the dollar is after GBP. So the first pair, if the first pair is stronger than the second pair, that means that it's going to be going up, right? So if the dollar is getting weak, that means the first pair would be getting stronger than the dollar because the dollar is getting weak. So this would be going up. That makes sense. So if I think that the dollar is going to be catching this little retracement right here and then going up, that means this is going to be catching a little retracement before going up, right? Now, all that I think that USD CAD is going to do for now, I see we didn't really break this high, but I do think that the dollar is still going up, so I think that we're going to get a little bit of a retracement on here. I think that this is a pretty significant level for the dollar. I mean for USD CAD. We can see how much times it respected it. I think we'll probably act like we're going to hold here, come down here, and then probably get a little fake out below this level and then move up, but I'm going to stay away from USD CAD for a little bit. So AUD USD, I had these levels marked up, right? These were just areas of interest if it was to break this liquidity barrier. Now, liquidity barrier, there's obviously money sitting below this, right? This level right here. There's obviously going to be money sitting below it because there's so much support right there, right? So that means there's people buying right there. There's a lot of buy limits right there. There's people with sell stops below this. Like as soon as it breaks this, they think that it's going to keep going down, right? So liquidity being grabbed below this area would just be it coming back down, acting like it's going to use this as support, and then shooting below it, and then making the big move up, which is just grabbing money, like grabbing retail traders on the opposite sides of trades before it makes a move that it wants to make. Now, if we think that the DXY is going to be making this little retracement, that means that AUD is going to be going up a little bit, right? Now, we did break this trend line, so I'm kind of staying away from AUD USD too right now. I just want to see I want to see how it plays the opposite side of this trend line, and I want to see how it works with the US dollar, because if this is retracing all the way down to here or here, that means that this is going to be coming up probably back into this zone and maybe even fake out above it again before it drops, if it is going to continue back down. But because we broke this trend line, I'm kind of weary of it moving back up, right? So this is why I'm just staying away from this pair for a little bit. And then GBPUSD, I sent some trades out on this. I sent 2 trades out last night, GBPUSD, GBPJPY. And GBPUSD, the way I'm looking at it, right, you can see this big box. Right now, GBPUSD is just in this big zone, okay? And if we zoom out, we're in an even bigger zone. Alright, like I can go to the daily and you can see it better. I don't know how I have this zone so big. It's definitely not going to last that long. But yes, you can see we're even kind of ranging on like the higher time frames. So I have these ranges here just to kind of help me a little bit, because if we break to the lower side of this range, we're probably moving down, right? But if the US dollar is going to be making this little retracement, that means that this is going to be making some moves up before it makes that bigger move down, okay? And if the dollar is going to be getting stronger, it makes sense for this to break out of this range and move lower. And you see what it's doing in this big range. Now it's making a smaller range. Now what it might do is make an even smaller one. Break out of it, make a smaller range, and then make a big impulsive move. So it's important to pay attention to when price is ranging or consolidating, because prices, honestly, is consolidating like 80% of the time. You just have to make sure you're looking at the right time frame, because right here I can see that it's clearly ranging a lot. But if I'm over here on the 15-minute time frame, I'm never gonna know that it's ranging, because you can't even zoom out and see that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might see that this is ranging a little bit, but it's hard to see that it's ranging if you're not taking advantage of all your time frames. But GBPUSD, what I think it's gonna do, what I thought it was gonna do, right? Because I thought that this move was gonna happen. I thought that this DXY was gonna fall back down, but what we ended up doing was just missing these trades right here. But what it can do, since it had this nice fake out above this level, and you can see for GJ it kind of did the same thing. It broke this level, but it's respecting this trend line that I have right here. So if this can continue back down, it can always meet these areas of interest, okay? So it may not be these areas of interest exactly. You know, I'll probably change them up and send out new different analysis, right? But what I'm seeing so far is we've had this accumulation, right? This nice accumulation of orders, and then you have this base, and then it shoots off. So what it's gonna do, what I think it's gonna do, what it's most likely gonna do if the DXY continues down, is this is gonna retrace back into one of these order blocks. It's gonna retrace down here, down here, down here. It's gonna retrace somewhere down here, and then make this same impulsive move, like up to somewhere up here. And it's the same thing for GBPJPY. We have this downtrend, and then we have this like slow down curve type deal, and now it's like accumulating orders going back and forth, and then once it's done creating this base, uses it, boom, big impulsive move. So if we can get back down to somewhere like into these areas, right, like even this right here, you can see that that might be a potential order block. Now you see that's a big area of interest, right? So you'd probably want to scale down, find some smaller order blocks, and you know, we can get into a lot of that stuff. That's why I have this mentorship group, you know what I'm saying, just to teach, just to make sure that people can understand the things that I understand. But you know, the more you hear it, the more you are going over it and watching these videos, the more you'll understand. But that's really what I'm seeing right now. So USD CAD, like I said, I'm waiting for it to kind of do something. Right now, what I'm seeing is this trend line was broke. This trend line was broken. We're at some pretty respected levels for USD CAD, which is why I'm still staying away from it, because I don't want to buy or sell off of one of these levels, and then it just shoots in the other direction because of how respected these levels are. So I'm really watching it with DXY, because if this goes down, then that means this is going to go down. If this goes up, and that means USD CAD's potentially going to go up, right? So USD CAD kind of staying away from it for now, but right now all I'm seeing is we broke this trend line, so he could come up here. I did actually set an alert, right? So this is a potential idea that I had. If it comes back up into this zone and tests this order block, I think that could happen with this just coming up. This could come up like somewhere into here, probably tap it a couple times, then move back down, and if that happens, then this could potentially use this as support, come up here, tap into one of these order blocks, and then move down into one of these zones before moving up if the DXY is going to move back up, right? And then AUDUSD have these little zones marked up. What I'm really waiting for, to be honest, is I'm waiting for this level of support to be tested, because I see, even if we bring this all the way over here, this is just an area that money is resting under. Price is definitely going to fake out under this price or move below this price and keep going. So I'm going to keep an eye on this area right here. Actually set an alert right there. And then GBPUSD, like I said, right now I'm just waiting for one of these retracements back into these areas of interest, and it's the same thing for GBPJPY, especially with this downtrend. Honestly, especially with GBPJPY, the thing that I'm waiting for, because we have this triple bottom, is there's either a lot of liquidity to grab underneath here, and this is gonna do some type of like fake move down before moving up and breaking this trend line, or we're gonna follow this trend line and respect this move down, because we can see that there's potential for this to just move down. For a long time we were moving up, 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 and we're starting to like make this curve long term. So this could be moving back down long term, but what I'm kind of expecting, if the dollar gets stronger, right? If the dollar gets stronger, then that means GBPUSD and GBPJPY are kind of correlated the same. Like you can see, they're not moving exactly the same, but if you look at it, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, they kind of follow each other. So if the US dollar was to do this little retracement and then get stronger, then I think that this could do a little retracement back into one of these areas of interest and then get stronger. But you know, that's why you always want to make sure that you're watching things, waiting for areas, break of structure, price patterns, because nothing is for certain, okay? But I didn't want to make this video too long. I hope I can actually send it to the Telegram without uploading it to YouTube. But yeah, okay, it looks like we're 12 minutes in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but hopefully that helped. You know, let me know if you have any questions. You guys have a good one.